Hey look everybody, it's my stupid face and Tekken on the screen at the same time. This hasn't really ever happened before on my channel. It's kind of a joke that I made it this far without it, to be honest. But I have a new PC and I've been working on a setup here. It's a lot harder than I thought it would be. All the devices and sounds that you have to get right. It's got me feeling so old, but I think it's working right now. So I'm just gonna start recording, and if this recording ends up fucked up, I'm just gonna upload it to YouTube anyway, and we can all at least laugh at my failure. But no being a cynical bitch in this video, something that I try to be careful about, as you know, and pretty soon I have to do a like honest feelings on Kunimitsu kind of a video, and I have a feeling that's not gonna be all happy-go-lucky. So in this one, I just want to talk about something that makes me happy and excited about the game. I want to talk about Season 4 Lars. And I mean, how can you sit around doing combos like this and not feel amazing on the inside? And the instant while running for the ender as well. That is so much fun. Like, I've been playing Tekken for a long time, but that right there just makes me tingle on the inside still. This is still a beautiful and amazing game. At least that's how I feel today. Lars was the first character I ever picked up when I got my first Tekken game as an adult. I just picked him arbitrarily because we're both from Sweden, and he's been in my muscle memory since, even though I haven't used him in Tekken 7 because, as you probably know, he's been kind of awkward and shitty for most of this game. But yesterday I was thinking about those good old days, and I remembered that there was a costume that I always used to use for him when I played with my friends in Tag 2, and it was the no-shirt red karate pants outfit, and I really liked it because it made him look more like classic Tekken, like Jin and Kazuya, like a more legit part of the Mishima clan, you know? I always loved the fact that he has the lightning just like his family members. So I went into customization mode last night and tried to recreate that look, and then I went into practice mode and started messing around with Lars, and before I knew it, I'd been sitting there for like 2 or 3 hours just really enjoying myself, having fun doing these crazy combos. A lot of things I learned and discovered as well. I mean, all the little updates that this character has had since Tekken 7 came out, many things that I missed, you know, the significance of. Lars is a pretty unique character in the sense that he's like an underpowered character, or has been historically. I think he's pretty good now, we're gonna get to it, but he's an underpowered character that the developers kind of have to care about. They can't keep on neglecting him because he's this very important part of the game and the lore and the story and all the rest of it. So I think they're genuinely trying to make him better. Usually it comes in the shape of combo utility, but I do think that this character has gotten a lot stronger. Now I'm using the DualSense 5 right now. I reviewed this pad recently, and I'm trying to learn how to use only this pad. I want to really like it, so I'm forcing myself to use nothing else right now. And it's not perfect, but I'm getting more and more used to it. And I think Lars is like the perfect character for using the DualSense 5 because he doesn't have any like complex circular inputs or anything like that. With Lars, you kind of hold forward and keep on sliding. The only like input you have to do is like backdashing, but this pad is really good for backdashing, like I said in my review. So it's kind of perfect for what I'm trying to do with Tekken right now. You know, back to the drawing board, new character, new pad, just having a lot of fun and learning while we wait for the Polish chin to show up. I want to talk about some of these revelations that I've had with Lars since yesterday, and then I'm going to force myself to play him for a couple of weeks. We'll see what happens. Maybe I end up maining him. It seems likely right now, if I'm going to be honest. I think that there is a deep synergy that exists right now for Lars between Dynamic 1 and Back 3 Silent. And that is very significant because you have this great spin move from Silent now in the shape of the Hurricane Axe. This is the latest change to the character, and it's like by far the most significant. Now at surface glance, it looks like more of the same for Lars. It's what I thought when I first saw it, because he's always been good at combos and wall conversions because of moves like this, right? So just more combo utility for Lars. Well, it turns out that this move kind of changes his combo game in such a big way that it's really significant for the character. Is that an exaggeration? I was going to say I think Lars has the best combo game of any character in the game right now, and there are definitely a bunch of characters who can compete with him there, you know, Geese, Julia, maybe even Katarina. But I think with Lars, you know, his combo game is so variable and intuitive. You can really change the combos on the fly, you know, break them apart and snap them together like Lego blocks for what you're trying to do with them. And they don't feel as on rails as some of the later, you know, DLC characters who also have long, good, high damage combos. He's a lot more fun for that reason, like a really enjoyable and fun character to mess around with right now. So the recommended combo that I saw for the first time yesterday and started trying out that I would recommend for like all his standard launchers right now goes like this. And it's just about getting to that dynamic 1, and then you do a back 3 into silent and then Hurricane Axe for the spin. That's 63 damage on the spin, which is more damage than I get for like a full standard combo with either of my other mains. So it's like, I know high damage is like a problem in modern Tekken, but it's a breath of fresh air for me because I'm really used to like having shitty combo damage. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And then for your ender, you have 2 main options. You can run deep and do another back 3 into silent, and then you have silent 1 for the damage and another Hurricane Axe if you want more carry. And you only sacrifice 1 point of damage using Hurricane Axe over silent 1. So it's a really good package for enders as well. I'm going to teach you a trick that I learned yesterday that made me even more excited, right? Because for these 2 enders, I mean, you can run in like this, but it can be kind of hard because it's kind of clutch. And the other thing you can do is you can use dynamic 1 to access silent like that. But in long combos, that used to require you to do this really difficult like micro dash to get the dynamic to work. And it was kind of hard. You would end up getting slash kick a lot of the time because manual dynamic is forward 3, right? Well, it turns out that there's a hidden secret input that Namco didn't tell you about for how to do this. And if you've missed it, you know, like I missed it, then I'm going to teach it to you now, and it's going to make this a lot more fun for you. So it turns out you can do a really deep manual dynamic with forward, 3+4, or like instant while running 3+4, like that. And I know my camera is down here and maybe obscuring the command history. I'm sorry about that. I didn't know where to put it because I'm new to this. But hopefully it's showing up. So forward, and then 3+4 will give you this, and it works perfectly for this combo. Let's try and do it one more time and see if we can pull it off. Like I said, new pad, so forgive me if I mess this up a bit. There it is. So you get 75 damage on the orbital, and you get the same 75 damage off of this 14 frame launcher that I never see any Lars players use, and it really is confusing to me because it's such an amazing high-powered 14 frame move. The input is kind of tricky, you know, to do fast, but I'm guessing now that like the high-level Lars guys do use this. It's just that I never see any, you know, I'm not sure that they exist. But if you are out there and a Lars player, let me know what you think about forward back 2-1. Amazing move, right? So this works for all kinds of standard combos. It works for, you know, counter hit dynamic 2. And yeah, I want to talk about a couple of other combos that are a bit more awkward and don't give you this like super easy package for combos, right? Like the while standing 1. A little bit more of an awkward affair. Well, I learned yesterday that something that you can do now is you can actually stick a lightning screw after the launch and then do a while standing 2 and then spin, and that will actually allow you to combo off of this like that, and then you just do dynamic 1, back 3, perfect synergy, 65 damage, beautiful, right? Now that doesn't work on smalls. I tried it on Xiao Yu and it became inconsistent, which was annoying, so I'm gonna have to find something for that. I'm gonna be looking at like small characters and bears a little bit later tonight. Maybe I'll record that as well. We'll see what happens. You know, I'm just kind of hanging out right now. This is not a scripted video, but I'm kind of, this is like the thinking about becoming a streamer equivalent of pre-cum. I'm kind of trying, you know, the layout out and just hanging out a bit in practice mode. Maybe this is the kind of vibe it would be if I did stream, I don't know, but let me know what you think about this one, even though it's not like, you know, scripted and super thought out. If it's enjoyable at all, I'd really like to know. But a couple of these other launchers, like, I hate Arc Blast. I think it's a dog shit move, and I really, really hate Arc Blast. I want to love Arc Blast because it's the signature move of the character. But here's something that I've been thinking about for years that always bothered me. I've never heard anybody bring it up. If this is supposed to be a powerful signature Lars move, why does Oscar have the exact same move, but safe? You know, when Oscar players do the forward dash, like they're taunting you, just going forward, and then they hit you with her 1+2 thing, which is like exactly Arc Blast, but safe. When you make a move safe, it's not like it becomes twice as good, it becomes like 10 times better. So like Lars is completely outclassed, and then the Arc Blast is outclassed by all of his other launchers. The Lightning Screw has more range, is slightly slower, the forward back to 1 is faster. He has this thing for a launcher now as well, and then the orbital, of course, is safe, so I don't think there's any reason to use Arc Blast. And if you're going to do it, then you have to do this really awkward down forward 3 dynamic 2 that I hate. It's finicky and inconsistent, you kind of have to spam it out. Unlike all his other combos, it doesn't feel good at all to me, so but you know, the good news is you never really have to use Arc Blast, so it's pretty cool. Now, combos with Lars, they're just amazing. The damage is insane, the wall is insane, the new Rage Drive, you know about it, it's completely insane as well. But the problem becomes, like, how do you get to the launch, because he kind of sucks a bunch of dick in neutral. It's been his problem, mainly because the lows, Namco want you to use this thing, but it's launch punishable and kind of weak and kind of telegraphed. This thing too, like everything is launch punishable, right? So what do? Well, the moment last night when I got this like really excited feeling that I think Lars might be pretty fucking good right now is when I started thinking about this move. So he's had this move for a long time. It's 4-4 1+2, but it's been kind of shitty because you couldn't really get good combos with it. I think what people used to do was something like something like that, super awkward and ugly, 55 damage, doesn't feel good at all. But now, because of these new combo paths, I mean, you could do stuff like, look at that, and it's like 68 damage on this safe gap closing mid. And these safe gap closing counter hit moves are really like the kind of move that you find on really high tier strong characters in Tekken these days, because you can be at a range where you're not at risk, and then you just come in with something without having to engage before, and if you get the counter hit, you run away with like 90 damage and take the round. But if it gets blocked, it's no big deal because you're safe, right? So it's an extremely skewed risk reward on this kind of move. And now that Lars has this and really can turn it into damage, I think it might be amazing. It also comes out of forward, meaning that you can use this. Really good players will react to the dash when you're doing this move. Really good players definitely react to forward inputs, especially if you're sitting next to them because they hear it, right? Well, this is also forward, so you can mix these two options. I would say like just do this move all the time because of how safe it is. Maybe do 9 of these and maybe then 1 of these or something like that. But I really respect this move. I think it might be pretty fucking good for this character. It's really interesting. They've turned the 2-1 into the dedicated 10-frame Punisher for you now. You only get 20, but it's at least something, and I think it's decent. You have your extensions now. His jab strings have turned into more classic Julia Dragunov-esque kind of utility jab strings. The 1-1-1 with the counter hit properties now, and the wall splat, fantastic as well. So that's really interesting. Cool move. And then for all the other punishment, Lars has always been fantastic. 12, 15. Arc Blast sucks though. And then for pushback moves, one of my favorite moves of all time in Tekken, back 3-4. Because I don't play Lars, I don't get to use this anymore, but I think this might be the highest consistency pushback block punisher in the entire game. I mean, the range on this is so extremely fantastic, and it starts with a mid that any pushback move, it's going to be 100% consistent, I think. You have a lot of these pushback punishers where if the situation is just slightly off, then your punish whiffs and now you get launch, for trying to punish a Death Fist or a 4-4-2 or something like that. I don't think this thing is going to let you down, and I just really look forward to being online and running into like a 4-4-2ing Heihachi or a Death Fisting Paul and sticking them with this over and over. It's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, amazingly cool and fun character. I'm looking forward to trying him out in some online matches, and I really want like tips and tricks from you guys, because I want to try and get good with this character and with this pad. Have you tried out Lars in Season 4? Let me know what you think about him. Thank you so very much for watching this short experimental video. Might do more of this in the future depending on how it goes. And then I'll try and have something a little bit longer and a little bit more scripted for you on Kunimitsu pretty soon. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys again very soon.